Le'Veon Bell here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Le'Veon?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You must be you're either so fired up or you're looking both ways before you cross the street so you can make sure you get to this playoff game for your first of your career. Which is it?
A little both, a little bit of both. Obviously, I don't want to go out here, do too much in practice, and obviously, something drastic happen, But at the same time, I don't want to think about it too much. I want to treat this as a regular game. Go out there, execute, do what I normally do, and help us get this W.
What has it been like watching injured last couple of postseasons?
Oh, it's been terrible. I'm not even gonna lie. There's no other way to put it. I mean, I think when I had to watch my guys last year, even though they made a run, but just the way we lost. Sometimes I just felt like. I feel like I could have made a play here or there that could have changed the game. Even when AB goes out with injury, I feel like, maybe if I was out there, I could have done something, different to help us win the game. So, I mean, it's been a little frustrating having to watch this the last couple of years, but I'm glad and fortunate and blessed, to be able to go out there this week.
How do you stay so patient with some of your runs, Le'Veon? It looks like sometimes you are floating out there. It looks like the Matrix sometimes, just sitting there watching it and how everything just slows down and then speeds up again. How do you do that, essentially?
I guess it's something I kind of picked up over the course of my career. A lot of people were saying I was patient, when I was in college. Obviously when I first came in the league, I just think, I've kind of grown and got, better at it. I mean, if that makes sense. I mean, I think it's something I got accustomed to. I understand that I'm in control of the pace of the ball. When I got the ball, I understand I got the pace. The defense got to play off of me, and I understand that. They got to come and make a tackle. They got to be, assigned to their gaps. And I kind of make them, get a little impatient or maybe a little thirsty a little bit and kind of make them shoot the wrong gap, and then that's why I kind of gas them for a run.
Well, who do you speak to? What veterans do you speak to for guidance? Who's part of Team Bell on that front for you?
You mean like other runners?
Yeah, other runners. I know Marshall has taken a particular keen interest in you. He talks about you all the time. I don't know how much you guys have actual conversations, but I'm wondering what running backs have you sought out counsel to or you speak to and with any sort of regularity?
There aren't many. I've talked to Marshall a couple of times. We don't talk on a regular basis. I got to meet my idol Barry Sanders last year. I got to talk to him.
What did you say? What was that like?
The fact that he even knew who I was, it kind of blew me away.
Come on, no. I love that.
Yeah, seriously, because, he was a guy I grew up literally idolizing, watching. My mom would tell you how much I used to watch, his highlights. I still watch his highlights, a lot till this day. Because some of the things he did was, spectacular. And some of the things he do, I try to put into my game a little bit, especially when he, was in the open field, because he was probably the hardest person to ever tackle in the game of football. So I try to take a little bit of something he do and put it in my game. But, outside of, those two guys, obviously Jerome Bettis, he's the guy I talk to. He maybe more on a regular basis, Jerome Bettis and Franco Harris, because those guys are around a lot. But not really no one else for real.
Le'Veon Bell joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What'd you make of what everyone's talking about right now in the NFL, which is a bunch of Giants players hopping on a flight, going to hang out in South Beach on their off day before playoff week? What do you think of that, Le'Veon?
I don't think too much of it. I understand those guys, I guess, they go out there, have fun or do whatever, that's just not something that I personally would do, or, me or AB or, whoever it might be. Because we understand, this is like a one-time thing. It's not too many chances or opportunity you can come around and get into a playoff game, and be, focused and wired in. It's not too many times to come around. I feel like in the off season, that's something you should be able to do all the time. Have your fun in the off season. But right now, I feel like you should be focused. It should be something you kind of worry less about what fun and worry more about get out there and win games.
What is Tomlin telling you? What is Mike's message this week?
Obviously we got to go out there, treat this game like it's our last. I mean, because it could possibly be our last. He's the coach who really embraces, the challenges that come forth throughout the season, and that's why I love it. I love the fact that Coach Tomlin embraces, the difficult times and, people kind of pinpoint us and shutting us down and things like that. Because that's the things that I always kind of look for. I like when people kind of shut me down or when people don't believe that I can do something, and I embrace it, So I think me and him kind of understand each other on that end, and that's something I love, doing and going out there and proving people wrong.
Well, let's talk about your personal side here, Le'Veon Bell. You're growing up in the state of Ohio. How in the world did you not go to Ohio State? How'd you wind up at Michigan State? Let's talk about that a little bit here.
To be honest, make a long story short, Ohio State just never offered me. They never offered me a scholarship. I had 4 scholarship offers out of high school: Bowling Green, Marshall, Eastern Michigan, and Michigan State. Those were my only offers out of high school. I was a two-star recruit, wasn't a highly recruited guy, and I ended up picking the bigger school out of all of them because I was confident in what I can do. And my goal was always get to the NFL, and I feel like if I, make a lot of plays in the Big Ten, make a name for myself, I'll get drafted into the NFL, and that's kind of what happened.
So you wanted to wear scarlet and gray, essentially, growing up? Is that what you wanted?
There was at one point in time I did want to go to Ohio State, yes. At one point in time I did want to go to Ohio State, obviously because, it's my hometown team. Everybody loves Ohio State. I grew up, 10 minutes outside of, right outside of campus. My sophomore and junior year of high school, I was going to all their games. They invited me to all their games when they was recruiting me. So, of course, it kind of, grew on you. Kind of grew on me over the course of time when they was actually recruiting me. The funny thing is, though, and this is going to blow you away.
Okay.
When I was growing up, when I was about, from like where I was able to understand football, so maybe about first to 8th grade, 9th grade, I was a diehard Michigan fan. Die Hard with Mike Hart, Chad Henne, Mario Manningham. Die Hard.
So what you're saying is this, Le'Veon. I look at you, and I follow you on Twitter, so I see all the Spartan stuff, the green and white. No, I saw you dancing around when one of the worst football moments of my life happened. Okay, I saw that. And I retweeted that. You see, I saved that, and I busted it out a year later.
I know you did.
Okay, you saw that, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So take that away. And then you got the scarlet and gray underneath a little bit. But deep down at the heart of Le'Veon Bell, the guy who's got one of the biggest hearts in football, it's maize and blue. Is that what you're saying? Come on now.
My family, my uncle and my mom and my grandpa, they grew up diehard Michigan fans. And so it was about half of my family Michigan fans, half my family Ohio State fans. And the type of kid I was when I was first through 8th grade, I wanted to be different from everybody, So I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Everybody loved the Buckeyes. So when I came to school, I wanted to be like, oh, Michigan won. So over the course of time, I just ended up growing up just loving Michigan. I ended up liking them. I went to a lot of their camps. They did a little recruiting on me too. At one point, they kind of started recruiting me. Ohio State was recruiting me, so obviously I ended up wanting to go to Ohio State. And it turns out I didn't even go to neither one of them. Neither one of them ended up offering me. It was Michigan State, kind of like in the middle of both of those teams for real. And I was fortunate enough to even go there. So I guess everything kind of happens for a reason, but
sure.
Both of those, it's a funny story, though.
That is a funny story. A couple of the things I want to hit you on before we go is, I run my 40-yard dash every year, right? You know that at the Combine. You've seen that?
Yeah. Get them hamstrings warmed up. You got to get them hamstrings loose.
Oh, yeah. No, I've got 2 months. Ben Roethlisberger was on Dan Patrick's radio show yesterday and had this exchange, Dan and Ben, about the 40. Give a listen here.
I think the best I ran was like 4.75 or something, 4.78.
Could you beat Rich Eisen in a 40-yard dash right now?
Yes. Without even knowing, yes.
Le'Veon, come on now. Come on now. You see him in practice. You see what he goes through. What do you think? Come on now. Seriously.
I got to go with Ben.
Come on.
I guess it's his teammate.
I guess.
No, I'm saying I see Ben have a couple little 15-yard runs. You got that in you, Rich?
That's 15. We're talking 40.
But it's 15 yards to get around guys who running 4.4s and 4.3s out there.
Well, he's running for his life. We're just talking about, you know, that's the way I try to run. Okay, look, he's your teammate. All right, I'll accept that answer. And lastly, I follow you on Twitter. It's fun following you. I see your dub smash. I see what I do believe you have some desire to be a rapper or somebody in the music industry. Have you at all reached out to Snoop or vice versa, since he is one of the biggest Steeler fans I've ever come across, Le'Veon Bell?
Me and Snoop, yeah, we've been in contact. You know, we talk just about on a weekly basis about the game. But me and him already hooked up on our song. Where we got our song done, me and him always connecting in contact. He's one of my closer friends.
Okay, so what does he say to you? Is this something you want to do a little bit more, other than just running the football, catching the football?
Oh yeah, of course. You know, I mean, he's the guy who's gonna help me behind the scenes with everything I'm doing off the field. You know, with the music thing, because obviously he's a guy who's been, you know, through it all when it comes to the music industry. You know, so he's been helping me kind of take me step by step, and he understands. You know, it's different for me because, you know, I'm a professional athlete. You know, so it's a little different on my end, but the off season and things like that, where I have downtime, you know, I meet up with him. We gonna plan, you know, my tours and the times I perform and things like that in the off season. So it's gonna be a big off season for me, you know. But obviously everything will be a lot better once we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, hey, look, and if you make it to the Super Bowl, you know who the Rich Eisen Show Super Bowl media correspondent on Thursdays at the Super Bowl. He did it last year. We're planning on doing it again this year. Is Snoop.
Right.
He comes in with the mic flag because he wants to be part of the paparazzi. I'm trying to help him on that front too. You know,
for sure. Yeah.
Hey,
Snoop, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
He knows a ton of football. He's diehard. He's no fake.
He loves it.
He does.
He loves it.
He really does. Hey, Le'Veon, I'm so looking forward to watching you play your first playoff game. I look forward to it, and don't be a stranger. Certainly, if you're coming out here to Los Angeles, love to have you in the studio here.
Most definitely. You know, I appreciate it, Rich. Thanks for having me.
Always, you bet. That's Le'Veon Bell.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.